They say the next world war will not be like the last. It won't begin with a declaration. It won't start with troops crossing borders in daylight. It will ignite in silence, in shadows, in the mountains where satellites can't see, in a land soaked brogue prayer. Kashmir. What if the spark that engulfs the world doesn't come from the West or the South China Sea, but from a forgotten corner between two nuclear giants? What if the world sleeps and wakes to a nightmare it never thought possible? Kashmir is not just a regional issue. It is a ticking bomb wrapped in geopolitics, history, religion, and vengeance. And unless the West truly understands what's at stake, this conflict might drag the entire planet into irreversible chaos. Kashmir is a place of staggering beauty. Valleys of blooming tulips, slow-dusted peaks, and crystal rivers. But beneath that beauty lies a history of wounds so deep they've turned generations into warriors. The region has been a battleground since the British carved up the Indian subcontinent in 1947. As India and Pakistan emerged as sovereign states, Kashmir was left hanging in limbo. Its Muslim-majority population was promised a voice. That promise was buried under the rubble of wars, betrayals, and military occupations. The first war broke out just months after partition. Pakistan and India clashed, and the United Nations stepped in, suggesting a plebiscite that never came. Instead, barbed wire and armed soldiers came. Since then, Kashmir has become one of the most militarized zones in the world. Over 700 Indian troops patrol its streets. Every corner is watched. Every whisper monitored. Every child grows up knowing the sound of gunfire and curfews. For the people of Kashmir, there is no peace, only survival. But this isn't just about two nations. It's about nuclear weapons. Both India and Pakistan possess them. Over 300 nuclear warheads combined. More than enough to wipe out millions. More than enough to invite retaliation. Each has the second strike capability. That means even if one is hit first, it can still retaliate, ensuring mutual destruction. The doctrine is called MAD, Mutually Assured Destruction, and Kashmir sits right in the center of that madness. The West often views Kashmir as a local issue, a regional headache. But that's a fatal misunderstanding. The stakes are global. The risks are existential. Because war between India and Pakistan isn't just war between neighbors. It's war between nations with nukes. And if those weapons are unleashed, the consequences won't stop at the borders. Atmospheric changes from even a limited nuclear exchange cause global famine. Millions would die not just in South Asia, but across Africa, Europe, and America. Crops would fail. Economies would collapse. The climate would shift. Civilization as we know it would tremble. And here's what makes the situation even more dangerous: the rise of nationalism and extremism. In both India and Pakistan, populist ideologies have taken root. Leaders appeal to pride, not peace. They invoke history, not humanity. In India, Hindu nationalism has fueled an aggressive stance on Kashmir. The revocation of Article 3070 stripped Kashmir of its autonomy. Thousands were arrested. The internet was shut down. The people were silenced. In Pakistan, Kashmir remains a rallying cry, a matter of honor and faith, a cause woven into national identity. When emotions run higher than logic, diplomacy dies. In the shadows of these political games are the people, the real victims. Young boys, barely teens, with stones in their hands facing rifles. Mothers who bury their sons under flags they didn't choose. Fathers disappeared in the night, never to return. Kashmiris are caught in a storm they didn't start but cannot escape. And every time another child is killed, another militant is born. It's a cycle. Pain feeds rage, rage fuels conflict, and the fire spreads. China, too, plays a role in this dangerous equation. It controls a slice of Kashmir known as Aksai Chin. Its growing partnership with Pakistan and rivalry with India complicates the picture further. The region is now entangled in the broader China-India-Pakistan triangle. A single misstep, an airstrike, a miscommunication, a border skirmish, could trigger a chain reaction, A local flashpoint could become a global firestorm. The dominoes are already in place, so why doesn't the world act? Why does the West remain mostly silent, issuing polite statements while the people suffer? The answer is inconvenient. Geopolitical interests outweigh moral clarity. India is a massive market, a strategic partner in countering China. Western governments fear jeopardizing trade deals, military alliances, and tech cooperation. Pakistan, meanwhile, is a key ally in Afghanistan and regional stability. Speaking out strongly risks upsetting delicate balances. So silence becomes the easier option. But that silence has a cost. There was a time when the world ignored another conflict. Rwanda. The cost was nearly 1 million lives in 100 days. Then Bosnia. Then Syria. The pattern is always the same. The world looks away until it's too late. In Kashmir, the warning signs are screaming. Yet the international community hesitates, waiting for the perfect moment, the right diplomatic window. But war waits for no one, especially not in Kashmir. This isn't just about morality. It's about survival. If a full-scale war breaks out between India and Pakistan, the refugee crisis alone would be catastrophic. Tens of millions could be displaced. The global economy would be shaken. Markets would crash. Supply chains disrupted. Global institutions would strain under the pressure. NATO allies would be divided. And terrorist organizations would exploit the chaos, gaining ground and influence. Already, extremist groups are operating in the shadows of Kashmir. Groups like Jaish-e-Mohammed and Lashkar-e-Taiba, with links to international jihadist movements, lurk in the backdrop. They dream not just of Kashmir, but of chaos. A regional war gives them oxygen, gives them recruits, gives them purpose, and once radical ideologies are unleashed, they don't respect borders. They don't care for treaties. They strike wherever fear can be planted. What must the West understand? That neutrality in the face of injustice is complicity. That silence, in this case, is not wisdom. It's cowardice. The West must do more than issue statements. It must lead. It must use its diplomatic weight to broker dialogue. It must engage not just governments, but the people. Invest in education, in media, in truth. Challenge propaganda. Elevate voices of peace. Push for demilitarization. Demand human rights monitoring. Support independent journalism in the region. Refuse to let truth be buried under nationalist narratives. This is not interference. This is responsibility. Because in a globalized world, no conflict is isolated. No war is far away. We are connected. Economically, environmentally, ideologically. A nuclear war in South Asia is not South Asia's problem. It's humanity's problem. The time to act is now. Before the valley of Kashmir becomes the valley of death. Before the snow-capped mountains echo, not with the songs of shepherds, but the screams of dying children. Before the rivers run not with spring water, but with blood. Before the silence that follows a nuclear detonation falls upon a world that should have listened. This isn't fear-mongering. It's fact. It's a warning backed by decades of tension, by arsenals hidden in silos, by ideologies that refuse to compromise. If the world can rally for Ukraine, it must rally for Kashmir. If it can speak out against tyranny elsewhere, it must speak here too. Because justice isn't selective. It's universal. Or it's a lie. Kashmir could be the beginning of World War III. Or it could be the place where humanity finally proves it has learned from history. The choice is still ours, for now. But time is not a luxury Kashmir has, and the world is running out of excuses. Audience ko lagta hai script banavatiya scripted hai. Jo emotional connection kamzer kata hai.